Namaste. Welcome to the Invited channel. Greetings to our beloved masters. Shri Mujiji Ki Jai. Shri Ananta Ji Ki Jai. So welcome. Today I'm going to keep reading from one of Ananta's books. It's a compilation of satsangs, of transcripts from satsangs. And I'll be reading from Can You Stop Being? And I'm starting, at least on the just through my tablet, it's page 25. I'm not sure if that's different for different formats. So we're going to be starting from where it left off last time. Just want to make sure that sound is working. Okay, if there's any difficulty with sound or broadcast, I'll be checking the YouTube feed once in a while. You can let me know there. Okay, and actually I think let's start with a meditation. Start with about a 20-minute Muji meditation. Here we go.
Just as you are here like this, you are aware that your body is here. Senses are functioning naturally. By themselves, they don't need any manager. Be aware of this. Just the sense of presence now. Just the sense of presence. You're here. I'm here. It's nothing more, nothing less. If any thought should arise, it is only a sensation, only a movement. You need not follow. You're the space, the vastness in which all movements are perceived. You are not moving, not following. Just you are. You're not resting, not working, not reclining. Simply you're here. And notice you are not waiting for next sensation, next experience. This is not you. You're aware of the sounds that come and go. There's nothing personal about them. They are not arising for you. Just movements in the field of consciousness, that's all. You are neither doing nor undoing, neither going nor coming. You are the limitless self, immeasurable. You did not begin to be this. There wasn't a starting point. There is no end. There's nothing to be afraid of. There is no other. You're not waiting to become. You're beyond shape. Perceiving time, you are beyond time. Perceiving forms, you're beyond form. Perceiving activities, you're beyond activities. Perceiving concepts, you're beyond concepts. Yet nothing defines you, nor confine you. Do not hold on to any image. You're beyond image. Do not combine yourself with any form. You're not a teaching. You're not a student. Not master. Not high, not low. Beyond male, beyond female. Like the pure space of consciousness. Timeless, beyond the concept of timelessness. You're not imagining this. It is only being confirmed. You're not believing this. It is only being confirmed. all ideas or concepts such as growing, evolving, becoming, all these are far, far from you. You're neither starting nor finishing. You're not delicate. You're not a flower. You're not any shape, though all these are perceived in you. You have no boundary, no edge. Look and see for yourself. You need not imagine this. There's nothing to study here. Feel that sense of completeness. Silent and vast. All questions, they come from the realm of the mind. This is not your concern now. Listen to the sounds that come. Where do they land? Who hears them? Like clouds, they float through this vast space of pure awareness. And again, you're not waiting. There's no need. You're neither fast nor slow, neither in nor out. Yet you totally are. Observing the senses, you're beyond the senses. Observing thought, you are beyond thought. Observing mind, you are beyond mind. Observing sensations, you are beyond sensations. Observing time, you are beyond time. Observing change, you are beyond change. You are yourself effortlessly. There is nothing of yourself to maintain. You cannot be maintained or contained. You are not an object. The body is an object. Observing the body, you're beyond the body. Observing moods, you're beyond mood. Observing memory, you're beyond memory. Observing intellect, you're beyond intellect. Observing breath, you're beyond breath. Observing silence, you're beyond silence. Observing space, you're beyond space. Yet no one can find you. The functioning of perception arises spontaneously and is going on without your deliberate involvement. Notice this. Yet your noticing is not placed in any direction, neither north nor south, nor east nor west. You're neither above nor below, like everywhere. In the space of your being, all manifest appearances, they appear, they arise, and dissolve in the infinite space of being. This is witnessed in you. You have no color, nor shape, nor design. Be aware of this. Yet you're also here in this body, experiencing also. You appear to be that which is changeful, and yet you're beyond change. Who can limit you? You appear to be the thinker, and yet the weakness of the thinker. Who are you? You are beyond height and width, weightless. attention to that space where there's no waiting, no expectation, no definition. To define is to confine, yet you're vast and limitless. In a few moments, you will hear the sound of the bell, and it just indicates that for now, this session will close. But eyes open, eyes closed will make no difference to your inner state. You did not create anything at all. What you are can never be over. But what you appear to be will change. Om Namah Shivaya.
Atma's here. Namaste, Atma. Shakti's here as well. And I think Naomi's here as well. Namaste, everyone. Beautiful to be here together. Okay. Okay, so again, reading from Can You Stop Being? Openness and ego cannot coexist. Trouble means an opportunity to transcend any identification. With this understanding, there is a complete openness because you will not resist anything that appears. Openness and ego cannot coexist. Ego means resistance itself, resistance to what is. Therefore, when we say openness, it means that ego is not here. Trouble means an opportunity to transcend any identification. Just with this simple understanding, you cannot suffer now, because there is an openness to all situations, and suffering cannot exist when there is openness. Suffering means a resistance to what is. How to overcome fear during bad situations. The first part is how to overcome fear. First, get an understanding of what is fear. What is fear? Can you see? There are objects in the external world, and then there are what I call internal objects. What are these internal objects? They are like thoughts, imagination, memory, emotion. One of the emotions which can be perceived is the emotion of fear. What are the others? Anger, rage, joy, peace, happiness, bliss. So just like there is an awareness of external objects, there is an awareness of internal objects. These internal objects, called feelings, seem to be very, very intimate with us. Now, most of us have a fair amount of distance, it seems, from thoughts. But for some of us, feelings still seem to be very intimate. But you will see, as you stay in satsang, that even these feelings are just appearances. So rather than saying that I am feeling fear, first we must see that it is actually that the emotion of fear is arising. The witness of this emotion of fear is untouched by this fear. Just as it is untouched by external objects, just as it is untouched by internal thoughts and imaginations and dreams. In that way, it is untouched by this emotion of fear also. Then once I see that in reality, what I am is the witnessing itself, which is untouched by this feeling of fear, then we will lose our fear about fear, and it will not be resisted. Because what arises can persist only if it is resisted. So the we resist fear that is arising in our fight with the fear, in our conclusion that there must not be this fear now, or I should not be feeling fearful. In this resistance, we seem to make it last longer, actually. But if we're just completely open as space itself, if you were to see that you are infinite space in which all is allowed to arise and go, then you would not resist it. You would say, come, show me what you have to show me. Be completely open. And then you will see that it doesn't last at all. It doesn't last at all with no resistance. It is just coming and going like any thought. But when we make it a personal battle that I need to stop this fear should not come, I need to do some therapy for it, then it becomes more of a longer struggle. So that is about the first part. The second part is, you say during bad situations. No situation actually is bad. This might sound a little strong to the mind, but the truth is that no situation actually is bad. All of the situations that are arising, if you have a true desire for freedom in your heart, are pointing you towards your true nature, are showing you that you are never this person that you believe yourself to be. So actually, what we usually call bad situations are situations full of grace, which are opening our mind towards the truth. Otherwise, there is so much arrogance and complacence in the idea of being a person that we are completely closed-minded to anyone that says, "Why don't you find out who you are?" It is mostly the beings who have been through an apparent period of suffering that are open to this quest for self-inquiry. At some point, you'll see that you learned so much from the situation that you are labeling a bad situation. You'll see that you are so much more aware of your own true nature. It is the grace on the path of self-discovery. So don't label it as bad or good. It's just another appearance for what you truly are. It is crushing the idea of the ego. It is crushing the person idea. All thoughts that you believed about yourself will now get dissolved, and you will see that you are pure awareness itself, untouched by any of the content of this movie. This movie is playing, and we're saying, this is a bad scene, this is a good scene, this is a bad scene, and getting personally involved. Then you start crying in the bad scenes and laughing in the good scenes. You will just see it as a movie then. It will become like a happy dream. The instant we identify with a part of the appearance and we call a part of the appearance me or mine, in that instant we are in trouble. Let me read that again. The instant we identify with a part of the appearance and we call a part of the appearance me or mine, in that instant we are in trouble. And trouble is what? Trouble is only an opportunity to transcend a false identification. So in the seed of the identification itself, there is potential for suffering, which itself is the cure for this identification. It is that simple, isn't it? The instant we identify as something which is coming and going, identify ourselves to be part of the appearance, then we have planted the seed for suffering. And it is in the suffering itself that this identification will get cleaned up. Isn't it so beautiful? Question: how to witness without getting involved? Ananta. In the first stage, it is good to be the witness, to watch everything from a distance. Then you will ask, who is this witness? Or I will ask, who is this witness? And you will see that there is no witness entity at all. All that is here is the witnessing itself. You were never an entity. You were never a thing. You are not even the witness. You are the pure witnessing itself. All there is a sense of witnessing itself. Awareness is not a thing. It is not an entity. It is only the witnessing. How to witness without involving? Actually, you cannot stop witnessing. If I were to say, stop witnessing now, would you be able to do it? No. The witnessing is ever present. What is true is ever present. In the waking state, you cannot stop being. That means the presence of consciousness or God is here always, and in all states there is pure witnessing. In deep sleep, there is no object to be witnessed, yet the potential to witness is there. The witnessing is still present, so you cannot turn it off actually. What you are trying to switch on, you can never actually switch off. What you are trying to become, you can never actually not be that. You can never not be the witnessing. You are always that alone. Identification with the parenting role. Don't try to forcefully rid yourself from this identification. This identification with children is a very, very primal identification in all beings, in animals and insects. It is present in all beings, and it is a very primal identification which is part of this realm. Therefore, all we must do is keep letting go of our thoughts. And you might find that the self has no problem playing the mother role, but really it is not so strongly identified anymore. There is more freedom, there is more space, there is more contentment knowing that because there is no person here, there is no person in our children also. They're all a part of us as being itself. It is only being, plain as being. If this beautiful role of being a mother is being played out, then don't question it. Just don't attach to any thoughts about it. Don't identify with any thoughts about it. Be completely natural, moment to moment, and let it play out. It is only the being which is playing all of these roles. It does not need the intervention of any thought. It is the same for all relationships. Just simply keep letting go of your thoughts and let life unfold naturally the way it is meant to. No need to forcibly love or not love anything. Then you will find that love is an energetic form that is constantly in service to you. It is in service to your own being, to your own presence. There is nothing forced about love. To be disidentified with our thoughts is enough, actually, because the idea of the person is perpetuated only by thoughts. It is nourished only by these ideas. And that's why we say so often in satsang, no need to renounce anything except our thoughts. No need to renounce anything except our mind. I never say, leave your job, leave your family, go to some ashram, go to some cave. That is not the advice. The advice is only to renounce this tiny insect in our mind, which we seem to be catering to all the time. So if we let go of our mind, then all renunciation is done on its own. That is the only renunciation that is required. When the life starts to be seen as a happy dream, then all our relationships will also start reflecting this happiness, peace, and joy. For a while, there might seem to be strong resistance coming from the world and the beings around us. But as we are stable in our understanding, then soon, everything just starts to stabilize. If there is still some fear, then it will manifest in the so-called external world also. And it is good that it manifests because it is an opportunity to transcend it. So in the funniest way, the problem and the solution are the same. The problem is suffering, and in the suffering is the solution of the dissolving of personhood. When there is suffering, then the person cannot survive. The ego cannot survive. Consciousness is doing all of this. So what is the point? It brings great sadness. You are not just a mere point within consciousness. Only the idea can pretend to be this mere point of consciousness. You are that great one, the supreme one within whence consciousness itself is born. The instant you identify and say, I'm just a mere person and consciousness is doing everything, then these types of thoughts will come. But once you see that you are the witnessing itself, the awareness within which the being is born, that being is born from you, then who is the Supreme One? You are the Supreme One. Therefore, consciousness itself is in service to you. It is in service for your entertainment, for your joy. So this one which is saying that I am just a mere speck in consciousness is not true. In fact, that is all that we are saying in satsang, that you are the Supreme One. You are the one in which even God takes birth. We're saying, let go of the imagined entity so that you see the truth for yourself. Consciousness is in control of this movie for your entertainment. You're not a mere character in the movie. So let go of this one that is saying, I have no control here. You, as consciousness, are controlling this entire appearance. All phenomenon, you are deciding, but not from a personal space. No person can ever become consciousness. No person can ever be aware, because it is only imagined. That's the point, isn't it? The satsang channel. Are we still cultivating the person in any way? Behind even our spiritual search, are we still cultivating the idea of being an ego, a separate entity? Or is it completely clear that no person ever lived here, that this has never been a person's life, and all that appears in consciousness itself, and all that appears is consciousness itself? You have to smell this one out for yourself. Is there still a person being cultivated behind all of this beautiful knowledge? Is there a person who's claiming to now know it all, someone who has understood life? It can seem very subtle. It won't even necessarily smell of arrogance. The ego that says, I know it all, can be said to be more detrimental than the ego that says, I don't know anything at all. Are we cultivating this know-it-all, or is it truly our seeing that no person ever lived here? Because if we are still nourishing the false idea that I, as a person, know something special, then with this idea also, there is suffering in its tail. We must all check for ourselves whether we are still believing ourselves to be this separate individual. You see, the spiritual ego is very, very subtle, actually, to ourselves. It seems very, very subtle. Because it could be speaking the most beautiful things. It could be speaking the most beautiful and seemingly true things. But as long as it comes from a place of specialness, we are still missing the point. Especially when we've had some strong spiritual experiences. Very quickly, the voice of the person becomes, oh yes, I have understood, I've got something. quickly forgetting that the only thing to be seen is that this one, who is making even this proclamation, just never existed. That is the only understanding. If it was believed that I am this person who now has understood something, then that would be still the potential for suffering. It is not that in reality you become a person. This point also must be clear to everyone. Just by believing the thoughts of personhood doesn't make you into a person. It is only that you are believing a lie, and every lie believed in causes suffering ultimately. But without belief, there is no potential for the suffering to arise. Nothing will be carried out of satsang. Not a blade of grass you will be allowed to carry out of satsang. That is true satsang. All the weight of the world you carried into satsang, you will not be allowed to carry anything out. If grace ensures that you continue coming to satsang, you will find that the entire weight of the world that you were seemingly carrying on your shoulders, the entire weight will be taken away. Not even a blade of grass will be left behind. I am very greedy that way. I will not leave it with you. I will take it all away. Is that a scary thought? It can be fearful only to the imagined one. So your belief determines even this being fearful or not. Because the imagined one has no potential to experience anything, including fear. So even the fear is your gift to the ego. Even the belief in fear is your gift alone to the ego. How can an imaginary one do anything at all, including believing in fear? Not even a blade of grass you will be left with to call your own. This is the power of satsang. Who can handle this heat? Even to say that your head will be chopped off is an understatement. You'll be left with nothing you can call your own. Grace will bring all beings to satsang. It doesn't have to be this satsang, but satsang meaning the company that will awaken you to the truth, the company of the truth itself. This is the divine friendship of satsang. In your handing it over, it is already taken. Hand over all ideas you have about yourself. They are not speaking about you. They have nothing to do with you. All your thoughts have nothing to do with you. They're only about an imagined entity. Every single thought is about the imagined one. It is only the belief in this imagined one which can perpetuate your suffering. Show me a thought which refers to you as your true self. That is why my master says, the mind is not your friend, not yet. Questioner, please take everything away. I give it all to you. Ananta, very good. So you've given it away now in satsang. Everything, everything, everything. When satsang is over, will you rush to pick it up again? Or will you stay in satsang even after the designated hour is over? What is it that we can surrender? Can we surrender anything that is real? Name one thing that is real that you can give away. It is very good to give away all that is false. I am waiting with open arms for you to give me everything that is false. The real cannot leave you. You are that. Dennis is joining. Namaste, Dennis. I'm glad you're here. Questioner, what is the meaning of Satguru? We say Satguru is actually your own inner guru, the one in your heart. There is no comparable word in English, but the closest you could come to it is to say the voice of intuition itself. It is comparable to the voice of being itself. If being itself had a pure voice, it would sound like the voice of this inner guru, this voice of deeper intuition. And this voice is qualitatively different from the voice of thought or voice of the mind. How do you tell the difference? Thought is a grasping, needy, proving energy. It is the voice which wants something or wants to prove something. The voice of the mind is not accompanied by the presence of love, peace, and joy. It is mutually exclusive to these. So the simplest way is to say it is that if you find words emerging which seem to be dipped in the presence of love, dipped in the honey of peace and joy, then we would say that that is the voice of your own heart. But if it's the voice that's saying, what's in it for me? Or trying to prove that it is me first, then this is the voice of the mind. And this mind must not be nourished by your belief. So the physical form of the guru is only a channel, only an instrument for the voice of the Satguru to speak. All the sages, their bodies, are only the instruments for this holy presence to speak. So if there is any sage which says that there is something special about this body-mind and claims to be anything beyond just an instrument for this pure presence, then I would be very skeptical of such a teacher. All the teachers, authentic teachers, are just very clear. It is seen that it is only that the voice of the mind has been kept aside, and they have now become instruments to just speak from the inner presence of truth. These are the words arising in response to the question about the Satguru. Feelings. Feeling, just like thought, just like any other appearance, is an arising and a going. It is a coming and a going. It's only after it arises that we say that it was my feeling. Then when it seemed to be what we call a good feeling, then we say, I'm feeling good. And for what we label as a bad feeling, we say, I'm not feeling so good. But it is not true actually, because feelings are not saying anything about you. Just because a feeling of joy is arising doesn't mean that you are joy. You are still only looking at the appearance of joy. It can be an enjoyable experience, but because it is enjoyable doesn't mean it becomes you. You'll see this, that you are the pure witnessing even of feelings, just as you are the witnessing of the world and your thoughts. You are the witnessing of feelings as well. That's why we say freedom does not mean that you will be in a particular state or experience. Freedom means that all states and experiences are free to come. But you realize that you are the untouched one. So don't be concerned about what feeling is coming or going. The witnessing is ever present. Switchover of power from person to presence. As my master says, when there is a switchover of power, seeming switchover of power from the mind to the being, and oscillation can seem to happen. But just remember that in spite of this, even when you're in the most mind-ridden state, the most mind-hypnotized state, in reality, you were never the mind. You were never the person. But yes, the appearance of this sort of oscillation can happen. We are giving the remote back to you, isn't it? You used to be like the buttons being pushed and you danced. The channel changes based on the button getting pushed. But now in satsang, we're removing the batteries from the remote. The buttons can be pushed, but your channel is always satsang channel. Questioner. Satsang channel. All buttons on the remote control access the satsang channel. Love it. Ananta. Laughing. Thank you all so very much for joining this satsang channel today. Read a little bit more. Off with the head. One common misconception is that being resides in the body. An even stronger misconception could be that the self itself resides in the body. There is a lot of specialness associated with this body. The body is not seen sometimes to be just a part of the appearance itself. That's why we confuse here to mean spatially here. When we say, what is here now, we are not speaking about a spatial location, no, not about a location in space. What we are speaking of is prior to space and prior to time. What are you without your thoughts? Atma has to go. Thank you, Atma. Thanks for joining. Goodbye. What are you without your thoughts? There is a neediness and insecurity present here. Very simply now, you can look at it. You have said there is a neediness and insecurity present here. But are they yours? What makes them yours? So there could be a pen present here, but what makes it mine? If I call it mine, does it become mine? Anything can arise in our lives. All appearances can come. But without our identification with them, do they have the potential to cause any suffering? If satsang was only chocolate-flavored moments, and all this pent-up stuff did not get released and vomited out, then it would not be enough. Like I said, not one blade of grass you will be allowed to carry out of satsang. All your insecurities, all the neediness will come out here stronger and stronger and will get released. It is beautiful that it can happen in this way. We can adopt this approach to say that I am open completely to anything that arises. I do not have a preference for what is arising even. Can we have this approach? Then how long will this neediness and insecurity last? It has nothing to do with you. All thoughts will try to convince you that it's about you. None of this is about you. This you does not exist at all. Questioner, there is resistance and involvement and lots of fear coming up. Ananta, so for all of you, can you give me your heads? What are you without your head? What are you without your thoughts? Give me all your heads, laughing. Questioner, haha, the headless way, yes. Some feeling of not being worthy enough to be free. Ananta laughing, even without the head. Questioner, no, laughing, not without the head. Questioner, handing my head over to you. Take my head. My heart is also yours. Leave nothing here. Ananta. So when the head is handed over, what remains then? Most confuse heart to mean an emotional center, a center where all the emotions are coming from. If you speak to most people in the world, they'll say that I go with my heart. What they are usually referring to is that they go where the emotions guide them. The heart we are referring to is your own true being itself. What we also say is that the heart also means the voice or the intuition, which is the voice of this pure beingness itself. This pure presence, I am, which for so many seems to vibrate starting with the heart center. And that is where maybe it started being called the heart. This pure presence, I am, is the heart itself. Questioner, you are always in my heart. Never shall we be apart. Ananta, I am your own heart. It is the very same presence which speaks here. It is this simple. Just give me your head. I think that's a good place to stop. Thank you for joining today. Goodbye.